Welcome to Real Leaders with Roshini, the podcast with real talk, real questions, real insight, and we hope, real inspiration. For real. My promise to you is that you'll hear from real leaders in an array of fields, from sports to fashion, food, entertainment, lifestyle, business, and beyond. And we're going to give you a glimpse into their real lives and who they are inspired by. And today, my guest is Angelina Lawton, just named to Forbes List of the most powerful women in U.S. sports, the 30 most powerful women in U.S. sports. Angelina, that's kind of a big label.
Yes, very honored, surprising when I found out, and very happy.
So you started Sportsdigita. Tell us the story of the start.
So basically, I started Sportsdigita after I worked in the NHL. I was there at the Tampa Bay Lightning. I was the SVP there of corporate communications and was working with all of the branding, logos, TV, radio, everything that had the logo on it went through my department. And from there, when we were getting to the pitch part of the process and helping the sales team do their 6- and 7-figure deals, I realized that there was nothing really great out there for them to use to do that. Everything was on PowerPoint. And so I really took that, I researched, I did a lot of work on, okay, how can I bring this to life more, these big pitches? And I couldn't find anything, and so that's how I really started to get the idea of digitizing that whole presentation sales process. Sales enablement is an amazing new category within the last probably 3 years, which we didn't start out being in that category, but it's become such a big function of sales. So the sales enablement is about a $750 million industry right now, going to be about $5 billion by 2020. So it's huge, and we're in a really great sweet spot. So our product, the DigiDeck, is really, the best way I can say it is PowerPoint on steroids. So that's really how I got the start, was in the NHL. And then moved back here to Minneapolis and started an agency here, really turned into a tech company, and we're about 350 teams now, professional teams, and growing.
So for people who don't really understand this, because for many people, we're sports fans, we're not, we see the big names on the arenas and the billboards or the, park benches, whatever. But what is this world like? Like, how can you put this in real language for fans out there so to really grasp what a big industry this is?
Well, as far as the sales enablement, it's really like the way I would like to talk about our product is like a movie trailer for your either company or your franchise. It's just sports is very, very sexy sport. And so when you go in with a PowerPoint, it doesn't really relate. It doesn't show you the same effect. So really what we're doing with our product is just, when you're about to go see a movie, you get that movie trailer. That's kind of how we view this. And again, PowerPoint on steroids. Anyone that's looking for something to sell or a story to tell, that's what they'll typically come to us for that.
All right, on Real Leaders, we want to go behind the scenes with our leaders. Forbes just named you as one of the most powerful women in sports. That's a big moniker. But what makes Angelina Lawton tick?
I think competing every day to be the best. I think that being in an industry where women, and it's two industries that I'm in, is women and tech, it really makes me tick to get better and to be in the industry and become a leader in that. I just always, everyone at the company always laughs because I always say I just always want to win and I always want us to be better. So it's a very competitive nature that I have that wants me to be like the best in sports, the best in tech for women. So I just want to be able to represent best as I can in those two categories.
There was a time when Carly Fiorina was named to, like the top women in business, right? And whether it was Forbes or Fortune, I don't remember at the moment. But she said actually she was bummed about that because she wanted to just be judged as a business leader, not as a woman in business. What's your attitude about being a woman business leader in sports?
I do agree with that, absolutely. But for me, there's been a lot of talk about that. And for me, I really like to embrace it. People are always wanting the story for me is like, oh, what's it like to be in sports and how do men treat you and how in tech, how do they treat you? And really, I've looked at it as an opportunity to embrace it and to really take advantage of it in a way that really preparing to be to know my stuff, to be able to go into a room when I walk into, like, say, the Chicago Bears and there's 10 men in the room. I embraced it, and I've made the most of it. And a lot of people, like I said, they want this kind of story. And I think that right now, with everything going on in the world, it's really powerful to be that. I don't shy away from it, I guess, is the best way to say it.
Well, I like to think if you're great, excellence just breeds that respect, and then gender really shouldn't matter. That's what I'd like to think.
Absolutely.
How I've tried to live my life. Who are some of the mentors in your world, Angelina?
So it's going to be cliche, but it truly is my father. My father is my biggest mentor. He was a venture capitalist. He's been a CEO here in town for over 30 years, and so he really did teach me everything that I know. There's a woman out in LA that I have as a big mentor. Her name is Rajkumar. She is a big personality out in LA. She is a very driven businesswoman, very smart. She's a big restaurant woman out there. She has really figured out a way to be like a big leader among women out in LA. So I really follow her a lot. She's a very close friend as well. Here in town, Laura Day of the Twins. She's a very powerful woman in Major League Baseball. She is someone that when I first got into the business, she was really great to me, and she really gave me my confidence. And so she's a very well-respected woman and one of the highest-ranking women in Major League Baseball. So she's someone that I really look up to.
That's really great to hear that you have both male and female mentors. Do you think they mentor you differently?
I would say yes. I would say the toughest on me is my father, for sure. Shireen's really hard on me as well. But my father, he really, I worked for my father. I started out in the financial business first. I was there out of a company based out of London, working for Allmen. So I really got my hard knocks in the financial business before I got to sports. And I don't think I would have been able to go into sports if my father hadn't given me that confidence. He was very, very tough. He truly, everything that I know is because of him, and just a very, very tough mentor. But I'm thankful for it now.
Yeah, absolutely. I can definitely relate to that. What is something that you might maybe you called a failure at the time, but now was one of maybe the best things that happened, or biggest lessons?
I think the biggest lesson for me is not surrounding myself with the right people at the beginning. And so if I were to go back in time, I would say I started out as an agency, and I turned into a tech company because of the success of the product, and I didn't immediately realize to get ahead of technology. I was really, truly trying to build a company or build a plane while flying it at the same time. So I think that I lost about a year in there of really not understanding where the business was going, and it was really hard. It's like, as an entrepreneur, every day is different. I remember during that year, we were downtown here officing, and it was about maybe a year and a half in, and I remember I brought a suitcase to the office, and I just said, you know what, I'm just going to pack my stuff up, and we're done, and that was the day that I the Detroit Red Wings signed with us. It was our first client on the tech side, and that was a big day for me. I don't know if it was because I brought the suitcase or what happened, but it was truly the day that I said, okay, I think I've got something here. And so I look back at that and laugh. It was a hard time for me, for sure.
All right, we're in Capitol Grill in downtown Minneapolis. So I want to ask you, if you were a drink or a spirit or a cocktail, what would you be?
I would say probably a margarita. I'm Mexican. My mother's from Mexico, and we always, as a family, are always having margaritas. So I would say that. I think it's a little bit sweet but salty, I guess, a little bit like how I am. So maybe that's it. I don't know.
I love it. What do you like to do for fun besides drink margaritas?
I love to travel with my husband. We are always traveling. We love to go to Italy. We go to Mexico quite a bit. My husband works out in New York, so we're always trying to find time to be able to travel together. So he's, this month we'll go to Mexico. We're going to go to Italy this summer. But truly traveling, I like to work hard and I like to play hard. That's really my motto. But when I'm home and I'm working all hours at night, but then I will take a break. And so that's important for me.
Angelina, what's your advice for people who want to get into your industry? And you've kind of merged a couple of them, so you can answer that any way you want.
Okay, so for someone that wants to get into the sports and tech industry, I think for women, I have kind of my list of things that I would, I'm talking to women quite a bit, and what I always say is like, don't be afraid of sales or the technology side of the business. I think that most women will go into the marketing side, not the revenue generating positions. So I would say to anyone, male or female, really, really try to embrace those revenue generating positions at a team or a company, because that's really where you will flourish financially and most likely, professionally as well. So I would say that getting into the business, if you're wanting to get into sports, really working your way up from the bottom to the top. There's so many interns in the business that have started. I mean, Ryan Tankey, who is the CRO at the Timberwolves, a great friend of mine. I mean, he has really put in his time and started out, I believe, as an intern, and now is, just kept going and going into the organization. So it's just been fun and amazing to watch his story. So that's kind of the whole side of sports. And then if you're looking to get into the technology side, it's really, again, getting in with the company. Probably a startup is your best bet, because you're going to really learn every single aspect of the business versus going into a big company.
All right, I have to ask you this. Do you have a favorite sports team?
Oh, gosh. I do, only because my husband played on it, is the Minnesota North Stars. He was there for about 7 years, and they're no longer here. You know that they're the Dallas Stars, but that's really where my husband got his start. He was drafted from the Minnesota North Stars, so that's always been my favorite team, and I love their logo and their branding and everything still, so it's fun to see those jerseys out and about.
It still breaks my heart that Minnesota lost the North Stars. I mean, it's just like that, that cringe. But yes, I remember watching your husband when I was younger, and such a great team. Hockey is my favorite sport too. What are some final thoughts you have to just help our listeners really be inspired, break through boundaries? Because Real Leaders with Roshini is about asking real leaders like you how to go out and just get it done.
Okay, so I have a couple things. Quickly, I'll just say that number one, always try to become a problem solver. Don't, really when you're going to be addressing a problem, always go in with a solution. That's what I tell the younger people that work for me. That's always a big point for me. Always work with a sense of urgency. For us at the company, we're always saying, when is it due? It was due yesterday. So really, if you wanted to, succeed in business, I think that's an important one. Surrounding yourself with people smarter than you, I think, is really important. And don't be afraid of that. And that's something that my dad did teach me very early on. So when someone comes into my office, I went to Arizona State. I looked at your background. You've had the amazing background where you went to school and everything. I love people that are smarter than me and are able to come in and add value. And so that's what I've always prided myself on. For women, don't apologize. A lot of us always are trying to apologize. I've got a great account management team. They're all women, and a lot of times I'm hearing them apologize for things that aren't even their fault. So I'm really trying to teach them not to do that. And so really turning that whole attitude into gratitude is important. And then really finding your niche. For me as an entrepreneur, business owner, I'm always saying to everybody, don't try to chase after two rabbits. For me, I think the success of Sportsdigita has been because of the going after the niche. So right now, if I would have gone in and tried to do healthcare and tech and financial at the same time, I would not have succeeded. So I really just stuck with what I knew and not tried to chase two rabbits, because I probably wouldn't have caught either.
I like it. Find the niche, stick with it, go deep, and make it your own.
Yes.
I love it. Angelina Lawton, such a pleasure to chat with you. Thank you so much. She is our Real Leader today on Real Leaders with Roshini. Until next time, keep it real.